Hello, good evening, everyone. Sorry, um, if you'll be watching this, that means I've done the recording and natuloy yung isang event sa school that I need to attend. So, nonetheless, I am preparing this recorded video para ma-compensate yung time for the discussion. Nonetheless, medyo mabilis ang ating discussion for this session. Okay. So, the last topic we've discussed for midterms is about the ISO 9000. That is about the quality management systems in the context of total quality management. And if you remember, the objective of this ISO 9000 is about the continual improvement of the processes. Diba? And we have used the PDCA cycle, to which no, nasa exam din natin yan, no, that the PDCA cycle is gearing towards that continual improvement. So you need to plan first, and then you do it, and then check it, and then act on it. No, so kanya ulit-ulit. And as I've told you, quality is not just one time performance measurement. That means it's an end goal. It's an end goal, and it should be sustained. No, so you're gearing towards that idea that your processes and your output will be standardized. So without much further ado, our lesson for chapter number 18 will be about optimizing and controlling processes through statistical process control. Okay. By the way, for finals, I think according to our course content, no, yung ating syllabus, we'll be having one chapter for per session na. But nonetheless, I think we'll be encountering some holidays for Tuesdays and Thursdays. So I think meron tayong isang meeting that will be discussing two topics. Okay, so but we'll be focusing on optimizing and control process, but will not be talking much about the computation, no, the statistical, how you compute that statistics. But what's the use of the statistical control, process control? This has something to do with the PDCA cycle, no, towards the achievement of the continual improvement. At the end of this chapter, after you have watched this video, no, and read the lecture, no, after reading the chapter and reviewing the materials presented to the students, you're able to explain the rationale for the statistical process control, understand control chart development, understand the management's role in SPC. Ito yung pagtutunan natin ng pansin. Understand implementation and deployment of SPC, and understand inhibitors of SPC, or the statistical process control. What is SPC, by the way? Okay, SPC stands for the statistical process control, and it is a statistical method of separating variation resulting from special causes from variation resulting from natural causes in order to eliminate special causes, to establish and maintain consistency in the process, enabling process improvement. Sa madaling salita, no, tatagalogin natin, no? uh, Hiwalay natin yung mga bagay na kaya nating kontrolin at yung mga bagay na it happens in a natural cause, no, so as we can eliminate those variances and will be consistent with the process, no, at in management, they're trying to control those unpredictable events, no, that's risk management and control, no. Okay, so what's the rationale of this SPC? No, this is to improve the product quality and simultaneously reduce cost. No, while you are checking on the process, no, and also monitoring what could happen, no, or those natural causes. You can able to do the process and reduce cost and to improve the product image in order to successfully compete in the world markets, no, so you're managing internal external causes or the variables. Okay, so what do we mean by that variation in the process? Hindi naman kasi lahat ng proseso ay pare-pareho. But you need to standardize them. 'Di ba? You need to be consistent. You need to be consistent so as no that we can able to have that standard. No, magkaroon tayo ng pare-parehong output. Just imagine this. If you don't have consistent processes, how do you make a standard output out of it? No? So you need to control those variances, either it be coming from natural causes or those derived from the system. So the output of a process that is operating properly can be graphed as a bell-shaped curve. So we won't be discussing that figure no kasi we'll be focusing on the management aspect of this SPC. The x-axis represents some measurements such as weight or dimension, and the y-axis represents the frequency count of that measurements. In statistics, we have what we call the f of x, no, or the weight of x, no. So the desired measurement value is at the center of the curve, and any variation from the desired result, no, in the displacement to the right or the left of the center of the bell. And 99.73% of the process outputs will be between plus or minus 3 sigma, the limits, no, that's within that plus or minus, no, positive negative 3. So when a special cause are present in the curve, will take a new shape and variation can be expected to increase. So o nga naman, how do you plan for uncertain events, no? When you plan for uncertain events, the risk mitigation follows. That means, pag pinaghahandaan mo yung mga bagay na mga pwedeng mangyari, no? Pag pinaghahandaan mo sila, nagiging nagiging constant na dahil you're preparing for the unpredictable, and kumbaga you are now predicting, no, you can now predict those what could happen, di ba? So again, what's the rationale of that SPC? Okay, your SPC aimed for continual improvement, as I've introduced the lesson. So it is usually the improvement of process that yields to improve products or services. Before a process is improved, it is necessary to understand it, identify causes that may generate variation, and eliminate them. 'Di ba? As I've been telling you earlier, that's one of the mitigation tools in management that para nga maiwasan natin yung further cost or further losses out of unforeseen circumstances. You need to eliminate those variances, and you need to do that process control, no? Okay? And you make it predictable. Yung natural causes pwede mag-brought sa'yo ng ano eh. But take into consideration, ano, because of your tools, no, your information that are present, you can able to prepare, no, you can able to prepare what could happen along the way, di ba? So halimbawa may balita, sabi ni Mang Tani, no, malakas yung bagyo, of course if you know those information, you can able to prepare and predict what could happen. Parang ganun din sa management. If you're able, no? If you're able to know the risks, and of course the involve effect, or the output or the product, no? Or the effect of that decision, no? Nakakapaghanda ka ng control mechanism for that. O syempre, kung hindi mo maiwasan na kailangan mo pumasok sa trabaho o sa eskwelahan, what should you do? Syempre, maraming jahe diyan, ano? Na syempre basa ka, no? So you'll be bringing yung pampalit mo, o kaya magbobota ka, o kaya may payong, o may raincoat ka, no? So you're predicting sa management perspective, sa atin sa administration, we're able to we're able to cut to predict the process, and meron tayong mga certain protocols and guidelines when things happens, no? In other context of management, we call this ano a devil's advocate. Ibig sabihin, you're preparing for the worst, no? And in fact, we always highlight a person that is always thinking like that na he's a valuable part, he or she is a valuable part of the decision making because nakikita niya what could go wrong along the way so we can able to prepare before that thing could happen. And as a result, it could eliminate waste, no? So if you are preparing for the uncertainties or you're predicting what could happen along the way, you can eliminate those wastage, no? Katulad ng ginagawa namin, just to share you a backstory, um, sa policy on outbound activities. Our idea is not to be not to precedent the incident of Bulacan State University, yung mga na-aksidente sa bundok, no? At one of our policy, no, is to predict what could go wrong so as we can prepare what dun sa mga extraordinary events na yan. No, so we're preparing documents or we have risk mitigation or risk assessment instruments to see what can we do at our end to eliminate those waste and syempre yung problem na yon. Then the SPC also helps in sampling. It is less costly to inspect only one piece out of 10% because kumbaga you are standardizing, no? You're standardizing all of them. So kapag minomonitor mo, yung implementation mo is hindi mo naman kailangan i-check ang lahat. And syempre for SPC, dahil continual improvement, you'll be auditing, no? That's one of the rationale of SPC. You'll be auditing them. So when a company processes are in control using SPC, the internal quality assurance organization can reduce its inspection and rely on audits because standard na no? You just need to know whether we're following those processes. Okay? So, eto nga, no? As I have been telling you that the focus of this discussion is about the management's role in the SPC, no, statistical processes, no. So only management can establish the production quality level, no. At some point, this is the thing that the management can control, the level of their outputs or their production, no. Yung hindi natin makontrol dyan, of course, there are things that are still uncertain. Fortuitous, kumbaga sa law, no? It's these are fortuitous events, but what we can establish is the production quality level, no? So SPC and the continual improvement that results from it will transcend department lines, making it necessary for top management involvement, no? So since this talks about process and quality and the improvement of those processes, no, the decision making will be starting from the planning of the top management. That's where the involvement of the top management is necessary, no. And budget must be established and spent. This can only be done only by management, of course, no. On the planning phase, and kasali po ang budget sa planning dahil it talks about what is the planned financials for the business, no, of course, that these are the involvement of the management in the SPC. Again, the end goal is to attain that continual improvement and to eliminate costs and wastages, no. Okay? So, this SPC requires management commitment. SPC and continual improvement represent a new and different way of doing business, and management commitment is absolutely necessary. No one in any organization except the management can mandate such fundamental changes. So a department will be prevented from reaping all the benefits if other departments are working a different agenda. Siyempre, merong ano, no, there will be magkakaroon ng kaguluhan, no? Because you don't believe in one process. In project management, we call this uh, unitary process, no? Unitary process. Uh, there are certain situations in management na hindi they don't talk the same language. They don't talk the same process. That's why they don't understand each other. And in this case, the management should do something that all of the departments has is are talking, no, are talking with the same language and with the same process, no. Okay, so let's talk about the authority over processes and production. Operators who use SPC to keep track of their processes must have the authority to stop production process. Remember, the end goal is to have that continual improvement. Of course, when you are able to know that there's a problem, no, in the production process, no, the SPC, no, has that authority, no, this authority to stop, no, the production process. As long as the plots vary about the process average but do not penetrate the control limit, the process is in control and is being influenced by common causes of variation, no. Stopping the line prevents waste and defective products. 'Di ba? If you know that there's something wrong about the process and you still continue to push through, that will result to further losses and damages. 'Di ba? That will be wastage. And that's ano eh, that's a moral sin, no? That's a moral sin in finance and of course in quality na magsasayang ka, no? Magsasayang ka ng resources natin. So, how do you implement SPC, no, in the preparation phase, no? So there are three phases in the implementation of SPC. That's preparation, planning, and execution. So let's start first with the preparation phase on the doing this SPC. First is you need to commit with SPC. Top management must be committed, and it requires spending money, utilizing human resources, changing the culture, hiring employees with new skills, or retaining consultants. Remember, no, that the goal is to achieve that continual improvement. And then after that commitment from the management, they should form an SPC committee. Now, SPC can be delegated to a cross-functional team that is tasked to oversee the implementation to execution. This is on the planning phase, no, or the preparation phase. No, uh, a typical team will be composed of representatives from manufacturing, quality assurance, engineering, finance, and statistics. No? So in a manufacturing plant, the manufacturing member should be the team leader, and the function of the team will be to plan and organize the implementation for its unique application. And then, of course, when you form your own SPC committee, you need to train those SPC committee. So the training must be done by an expert. The members will know then the set of objectives, and to determine the process should be targeted first. Continued help from the statistics expert remains critical. By the way, what's the role of that statistics in the decision making? Of course, when you have those information, those historical data, you can able to in fact predict, no, uh, but not 100%. Of course, there will be margin for error for that, but you can able to predict and to understand what is happening, di ba? Then after that preparation phase, you now go to the planning phase, no. It includes the next five steps. So from that preparation, you should now set SPC objectives, no? Syempre ang end goal is to have continual improvement, but you should have that sets of objectives. So how will you measure success? So you'll be checking on the balance sheet, the customer feedback, syempre the reduction of scrap, which is one of the rationale of SPC, and lower cost of quality, no. Objectives may be added, eliminated, changed, adjusted depending on the management. Okay, then identify target processes. Select a few processes for pilot implementation with some initial success under its belt, which is proven as part of the processes. So kasali na dito yung screening or filtering of those processes first. No, syempre, while you're trying to implement, and yun nga, you're trying to implement this process, at the very least, no, dun na tayo dun sa ano, meron ng success na process. So you'll be picking your best practices there. Then number 6, train appropriate operators and teams. Earlier, you need to have that to form your SPC committee. Now, syempre, you need to train, no? As mentioned earlier, you need to train the SPC committee, but now from the implementation level, ano? So you need to train appropriate operators and team to do that, no? So the operators and teams will be directly involved in the collection, plotting, and interpretation of SPC data. Ensure repeatability and reproducibility of gauges and methods, such as same with the research in daily life. If you want to know something, no, there should be instruments to gauge or measure, no, measure those ideas, and delegate responsibility for operators to play a key role. Those are part, no, of the planning phase. And lastly, no, on the execution phase, which has 9 steps, no, after you prepared and planned, now you need to execute, no. So flow charting will reveal process features or factors. So you need to draw, you need to draw the flow of the process, eliminate the causes of special variation, no, as I've been discussing earlier. Tanggalin, no, tanggalin yung mga yung variability, kumbaga. Then develop control charts. The statistics expert or consultant can help develop the appropriate control chart and calculate valid upper and lower limits. Collect and plot SPC data and monitor. As I've been telling you, that's the significance of data. In fact, accurate data, no? These can help to be a tool to predict or a tool to monitor what is happening. Then determine process capability. When a process is in control and still not capable of meeting the customer's specification, it's the for the management to upgrade the process capability. They respond to trends out of limits data. So there should be a certain level of flexibility with the decisions in the process, no? And then, syempre, you'll be checking on it. You need to track the SPC data. So the SPC committee and management should see where they should concentrate resources. And then, eliminate the root cause for a new special cause of variation, no? Isa to sa laging binabalikan ng pinag-uusapan natin, that you should eliminate those wastages, and to know that to control that is you need to you need to eliminate, no, the unpredictability variance, no. Ibig sabihin, you need to put in place control and implementation tools, no, and narrow the limits for continual improvement, no. Narrowing the limits will result into fewer parts failing. So mas nagiging specific yung natin, yung goals natin towards continual improvement. Okay? So what inhibits this SPC as a tool in quality, no? So the most common inhibitor of SPC is the lack of resources. So how do you do this statistical approach in total quality management, no? If you don't have that resources, of course, parang parang bakit hindi nyo ginawa to? Parang sa research, no? Bakit hindi nyo ginawa to? Sabi ng panel. Nasa isip mo na, oo nga, dapat ginawa ko to, or opo, tama, ginawa po dapat namin. Kaso, no? There are limitation of your resources. Kasi po kulang po kami ng time. Kasi po kulang kami ng resources kaya hindi na po namin nagawa. pero we are taking that into consideration, no? Of course, that's the idea. That inhibits you to have more accurate data and the rationale to continual improvement, 'di ba? How do you really achieve that quality outputs and processes if you don't have those means to do that, no? Capability in statistics, many organizations do not have data analytics, no? This is what I've learned in marketing, for example, no? uh, we should have that what we call data banks, no? Data banks of the clients, no? In fact, sa mga ano natin, ano, sa mga apps natin, we are signing for those terms and conditions, that they'll be keeping our data and so on and so forth, and then you'll be part of this ganito ganito, that your data is used, no, to understand the behavior of the customers. And the same thing with quality. They are basing their decisions out of the most accurate and most pertinent data available, so as it could help in the decision making to achieve the continual improvement. And then misdirected responsibility for SPC, no? Nagtuturuan who should be responsible for this. The process operators will require help from the statistician and others from time to time, but they are the appropriate owners of SPC for their process. The consultants or the statistics will just be there to compute, no, those nakita natin kanina, the sigma, the has that upper level and lower level margins of that variance. But the decision making and the implementation and control of this decision making tool is nasa SPC committee and also with the management, no? And then failure to understand the target process, that a good SPC system cannot be designed for a process that is not fully understood. If you don't have the same processes and you don't have the same knowledge of the whole process, how do you do the SPC? 'Di ba? Failure to have process under control, no? Since you don't understand the process, how do you manage? How do you manage those processes? 'Di ba? So before SPC can be effective, any special cause of variation must be removed because the element of unpredictability, 'di ba? And then failure to have inadequate training and discipline. Of course, should be trained, and at least you have the knowledge that the goal in the SPC and of course in total quality management is to have that continual improvement. Okay? So measurement of repeatability and reproducibility. Before a gauge is used for SPC, it should be calibrated and repeatability certified. And low production rates. How do you study, no? How do you study the data if of course there will be lesser samples? The same thing with the same thing with other decision making that are based from data, na if there are lesser sample that could represent the whole population, syempre parang malabnaw yung result or significance of the study. Okay? Those are the inhibitors of the SPC. Okay? And that's it for the statistical process control. Just to sum it up, now this statistical process control is it's a method, no? It's a method of that aims to have that continual improvement. At part of this process is to remove the unpredictability of the process. So as magkaroon tayo ng standard, and so as magkaroon tayo ng specific processes that could really be monitored and be audited, no, para magkaroon ng certainty or consistency yung mga outputs natin in quality management. Okay? That's it for today. Pasensya na if mapapanood nyo to, that means matutuloy yung meeting or that orientation that I need to attend. And bawi ako sa inyo. Patapos na rin yung semester. I think after this week, we only have 4 meetings left after this. And then holiday pa yung isa, May 3, no? Uh, okay, that's it. Then I hope that you learn something new and something deeper this session. I'll be seeing you then on Thursday. We'll be having our activity. Thank you very much and God bless us.